What's going on, everybody? Coach Stefan here, and I'm here with one of our clients, Pat Richardson. Pat, do you mind introducing yourself? Just giving people a little background and context. That way they know who we're chatting with, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, I'm Pat Richardson in Virginia, live in Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm a police officer here for 20 years. Been assigned to our SWAT team for about 10 years. Work at our training academy, so it's kind of detrimental for me to be physically fit, and I kind of seek some help in getting better. So
Yeah.
that's why how I ended up here.
Yeah. So, I mean, you came in, pretty good shape, right? Like we work with a big spectrum. We do have some SWAT guys, we have some cops that are really out of shape, and we have some people in between, and then we have some people that are in some better shape. I know for you, you had the full setup or have the full setup, like home gym, all that stuff.
Right,
You had some trainers in the past, right? That you
correct.
work with. So like, and that is kind of an avatar that we work with is the cop that had some trainers that work with some high level people, but just wants to go from here to here, right? Like an 8 to a 10 or 7 to a 9, right? Which is,
Right.
I think, like what I would categorize you. Now you've only been in the program around, well, you joined in the beginning of February, so February, March, April, so about 3 months, 90 days ish.
Correct.
What progress have you seen or 90 days in the program?
I think when I first reached out to you, I felt like I was at a plateau. Like
Yeah.
I did the CrossFit thing. I felt like I was getting hurt a lot of aches, a lot of pains. So I decided to do my own thing and built my own home gym. And but I felt like I wasn't progressing the way I needed to. And I reached out and had kind of like in-person personal trainers, meeting with them every once in a while. I reached out with help with a nutritionist for several months, but it didn't seem to be very beneficial to me. Um, so I felt like I was in decent shape, but I wasn't progressing the way I wanted to. Um, so I felt like I was gaining more weight, but it wasn't the muscular weight that I wanted. So I felt like I was just getting bigger, but I wasn't getting stronger.
Hmm.
Um, so that's why I kind of seek some help just to get the nutrition dialed into where I felt like I needed to be and get in a strict regimen. But I didn't want to be one of the things where I had to attend a class the same time every week just because the work schedule can get very chaotic. And like I was telling Coach Mike, because he asked me about sleep schedule, like, some weeks I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. Last week I was getting 2 hours of sleep here, 2 hours of
Yeah.
sleep there, and it's very hard. So I like doing the workouts and on my own time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, I'll dive into the training a little bit. I kind of want to go over what that looks like because somebody watching this maybe like worked with a nutritionist or a trainer. And I know we had conversations about that, about like,
right,
is it really the most effective thing you're doing? Online is going to be a lot different for you. Are we the first online coach you worked with?
yes,
Okay, good. And I'm glad because like I'd say, man, in the 90s, 95% of our clients first online coach, and there's some skepticism, right? Like, dude, is this going to work? I've worked with in-person trainers. I know you probably had some, fair enough, right? Like, is this
right.
actually going to work for me? I mean, 90 days in, you working with a personal trainer and an in-person nutrition, do you feel like this has been better? Do you feel like some of your skepticism has been disproven in a good way?
I think so. It seems like Coach Mike that I'm working with is very responsive. Like if I have a question, like I was sending a message about, adding this to my home gym, would that be beneficial? Or questions about diet and intermittent fasting and stuff. Like if I consume this collagen, does that break my intermittent fasting and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't answer me within like 20 or 30 minutes, it's rare. But he's usually on top and answers my questions, giving me more videos, giving me more info, so I can learn more about it instead of just telling me the answer too. So he's telling me the answer, but then say, hey, look at this link, look at these videos. So it gives me, I guess, more knowledge so I can have that knowledge in the future. So
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we don't want to work with you forever, right? And I say that time and time and time and time again, because like, especially somebody at your level, it's not a forever thing. I know we talked about that when you first joined, like, dude, get
right.
in, do a 6 month program, do a 12-month program, whatever it is for the specific individual. learn, right? So that's why we're not just barking orders. We like want to give you some things to do research. We want to empower you, kind of do a brain transfer. I know Coach Mike has a lot of knowledge, but we
Right.
want to be able to like, yeah, guide you and direct you and have you be more self-sufficient. So let's talk about your progress though. 90 days in, like physique, performance, what notices have you, or what changes have you seen?
Definitely physique. I think when I first started reaching out to you, I weighed 236, I think. Um, this morning I was 216. So that's 20 pounds down, but I'm getting stronger at the same time. So my pants are fitting a little bit looser, my shirts are fitting a little bit better. Um, I'm feeling better on the diet that I'm on. I feel like I have more energy throughout the day. Um, I'm still getting hungry here and there, but he
Yeah.
hasn't dropped calories a whole lot. And I'm actually enjoying the diet that I'm on. And I have my wife that's, kind of leaning towards that avenue too, and helping me. She's not getting junk food in the house or anything like that. And we tend to grill out every night and stuff. So it's easy when there's people in the household that are helping you along too.
No,
So
100%. So you said a couple things that I want to pin on. You're like, I lost 20 pounds, and you're like, and I'm
mhm.
a little bit hungry. Well, you're in a deficit, like to be
Right.
expected, right? To some capacity, but we can't put you in such a big deficit that you're at work and you're brain foggy and you're lethargic. That's dangerous. That's not what we're trying to do. It's not
Right.
optimal for any of you guys. But I mean, 20 pounds down. At the same time, you've hit some PRs. So I mean, would it be fair to say you're getting stronger?
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yes.
right? So we burn fat, we built, when I say build muscle, I know I say burn fat, build muscle, increase performance. It's not always muscle building, right? Sometimes it's like, yeah, we didn't actually build muscle mass. But I think for most of our community, if you get a little bit leaner and you get stronger, number one, you look bigger because you're leaner, right? And then you got stronger, which is really the performance aspect, which is probably more important than having show muscle, right? Not training like a bodybuilder. So I know he has you do a lot of like probably different movements than you were used to as well, right?
Yes.
So new
Yes.
movements, which I told you before you joined, I'm like, it's going to be different than what you're doing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you've been training for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and I know because I went through this when I first did like conjugate tactical and different things that we do, it was completely new to me. And I needed it though, because my body's like, dude, I'm responding way better. Like I felt like was at a strength plateau for like quite a while, like a few years. Like I got incrementally stronger, but no jumps. But for you, 3 months in, 20 pounds down, your cardio went up too. I know he said your run time got a lot better and strength
Yes.
increased. And I'm like, yeah, that's sick. That's it works, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
the flexibility it has gotten much better. There's very little aches or pains. Um, like I ran a 5K I do every year last weekend, and I think it was a minute better.
nice.
And it was easy. So it seemed easy.
Yeah.
So things are progressing in the right direction, and it seems like the movements are getting easier, not harder.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm getting stronger at the same time. Flexibility is better.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, right? Because I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when we chatted, you're like, I'm kind of a little beat up. Like I have some mobility. I want my mobility to be better. I have some aches and pains. And,
Yes.
if we're doing like very traditional training, like, more cookie cutter bodybuilding stuff over and over. And I know Mike's probably educated you, the repetitions, the overuse injuries, little things, we all have them. And then kind of branching out and doing a different spectrum, it's going to take care of those things. And I know some people too, we do some rehab stuff I mean, within our scope of practice, making sure that we're kind of hitting all components. And the best way I think to think about the program for most people is we try to take as much of a 360 approach as possible. Training, nutrition, sleep, recovery, performance, like we want to be able to do it all. Sounds like that is done, which is great. I
Yes.
think one of the biggest kind of probably concerns, right, besides will online coaching in general work for me, is like, are these people good at what they do, right? Like, can they give me results? And then I think it does come down to a lot of like customer service, like a lot of the horror stories online, right? Is this person going to promise me all these things and my coach never talks to me? They take forever to get back to me, whatever. And I'm glad you brought that up because we're on the coaches' asses in a good way to be like, hey, be quick to respond, give them information. And it sounds like that's Coach Mike has done a great job at just, I don't know, being a good coach, right? Giving you customer service, being quick to respond, explaining
Oh,
things.
yeah. Yeah, and it
Um,
almost makes me feel bad when he sends me a message and it takes me 6 hours to respond because I'm busy. I'm like, oh gosh, well, he's so quick to respond to me. I need to be quick to respond to him. So,
nah,
um,
we know
no,
you're
it's
busy. Yeah. I think the thing too is like online coaching used to be done. Oh, I mean, people do it different ways, but it used to be not good. Like, oh, email me and I'll send you a PDF and like very archaic. And like I with the app, I hope it's a lot easier. And did you work with when you did your nutritionist, was it through an app or no?
the tracking was through a different app. It wasn't the MyFitnessPal. I can't even remember what the name of the app was at this point, but it was a messaging slash email thing. I never met them in person. I never did a Zoom call, nothing like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I see it actually quite a bit, specifically in our cops and firefighters, probably more cops that they do some type of CrossFit at some point, or they're either getting a trainer or a nutritionist. And I know we have this conversation, it's like, well, with the scheduling and the fact that generally the trainer doesn't talk to the nutritionist doesn't talk with the trainer, there's just gaps. And again, like you're just saying, your nutritionist could have been great. I don't know, trying to give you some things, but she doesn't really understand your training and your sleep. And there's missing components. And so the big thing for us is to come in and do everything. Like one person that knows everything, that has their hand in your whole situation. And obviously, it works really well. Um, what would you say to people that are kind of in your similar situation? Because obviously, like 60, man, now I'd say like almost 60% of our clients are law enforcement. We do have some SWAT guys that are kind of maybe on the fence or thinking about getting some help that are in a similar position.
right. Um, I felt like I tried to do the right thing by getting help years ago by joining a CrossFit gym and reaching out and getting help with a nutritionist, and it didn't work. And I felt like I was dragging my feet, going in the wrong direction,
Yeah.
so to speak. That I wish I would have done this sooner. I wish I would have known about this sooner. And it was just the fact of scrolling on Instagram one day and seeing the ad and like, oh, I'll take the chance of reaching out and see what they have to offer, sort of thing, just because I felt like I wanted some help. So I felt like I should have done it sooner. But as soon as I saw the ad, I reached out because it seemed promising. So, and yes, I was skeptical at first just because I've never done an online thing,
Yeah.
and you see ads all the time on on the interwebs.
Yeah.
I am glad that I took the chance and took the risk, and it was helpful by you saying, let's do a Zoom call, no strings attached, and um, see what we have to offer. And if I tell you we're not a good fit, then we're not a good fit, and I will try to push you in the right direction. But I'm glad it was a good fit, and I'm glad I'm doing it. I'm the type of person where if I'm going to spend my money on something, I want the result, and I'm not going to do it half-assed, so to speak. Like if I'm spending money on something, I'm going to do it. Um, so that's what I decided to do. So I feel like it's a good investment. That the progress I'm making now probably would have taken me years to do on my own if
That's
I was able to achieve. So,
Yeah. That's nuts, man. Like something that you're doing in 90 days would have taken you years. And it's not, and here's the thing too. Well, number one, hats off to you. You're working your ass off, you're putting in the work. And I think a lot of our community is literally the same boat. I'm the same way. If I'm going to do something, well, number one, of course, you're like, I want my money's worth. I want results. We know that. We have to get people results, which is why we try to give us about social proof. We do interviews like this. Like I want to show people, no, no, no. We don't stay in business by kind of getting you some results. Like that's not how we do it. We want to get you the best results. And when I hear you say, yeah, it probably would have taken me years, I'm in 90 days, that's coaching. Even when I hire coaches, fitness business, it's collapsing time. That's what coaching is. It is. It's like instead of beating your head against the wall, figuring it out, trying all these different things, like could you eventually get there? Like maybe, right? Like
maybe.
probably you're a super hard worker. Most of our people are, but like, do you want to take 3 years? right? Or do you want to get to the point, sorry, I know my connection's a little bit laggy. Or do you want to get to the point where you're like 90 days in and you've like figured half of it out, right?
Right.
There's no guesswork because your coach is already working with other cops, SWAT people, obviously super highly educated, does it himself. And yeah, it's collapsing time. Like same thing for my business and my fitness. I've had tons of coaches before and they're like, this is the path straight. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Uh, so I'm glad you've had a really good experience and yeah, you're crushing it, man. I mean, your progress is really, really good. And that's a lot from somebody that's been training for a very long time. Like, right, you've been training most of your life, correct?
I feel like it, but
Yeah.
from looking at that and then looking at the past 90 days, I feel like I was training the wrong way. I feel like I was beating myself up more than progressing.
And honestly, it's that's generally what it is. And I come from like wrestling, really like hard, like grinding background too, where sometimes I just thought more was better, like more volume, more days in the gym, higher intensity, and the workouts destroyed me. And I'm like mentally tough, right? Like I'm getting after it, but I didn't really see I didn't have a well-rounded. And if my physique was good at my performance, I was getting injured left and right, right? Like I
Yeah,
was breaking down and then that would limit me, right? I'm like, ah, oh, man, I'm hurt, so I can't do this. Oh, I'm hurt, so I'm like, man, why am I breaking? And so there is kind of a sweet spot, which I think you've discovered, and you only know what you know. And so I try to take some responsibility off of this community. I'm like, you guys are hard workers. Never take that away. Most of you guys train your asses off, but like you only know what you know. And if you're doing the wrong thing, like it's not because you're lazy, you just don't have the knowledge. And so most
right,
people like you, Pat, when we get you in and we're like, here you go. It's not like a we got to hold your hand babysit you thing. I know that's not how the relationship is with you and Coach Mike. It's more like pinging things, getting some info. Hey, I want to kind of try this, picking his brain. And if we give it to you, you'll go execute clearly, 20 pounds down, hitting PRs, cardio better. So yeah, you're crushing it, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm happy. So
Yeah. Cool. Well,
yeah,
I really appreciate you jumping on and hopefully this is super helpful for somebody. And, if they're kind of on the fence, they can, hear what you have to say 90 days in. And, I'm excited to kind of see where you do the next 90 days and then follow up with you and just see how you're doing and what progress you make.
yeah. Sounds great.
Cool, man. Well,
So
thanks for jumping on.
yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah.